You guys, I absolutely loved this episode so much. I really, really did. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Subscribe. Hi to the new subscribers. Welcome. Make sure you comment, like. It really helps me out a lot. It really does. Just even liking the video. Leave a penguin down in the comments. Oh, and for the giveaway, all you have to do is comment on a video and subscribe for this metallic Caraxes. One of them, thank God I accidentally ordered 3 because one got damaged. Like the box was ripped. I don't know if they'll let me return it. But either way, that's all you have to do to enter to win that. And I like doing stuff like that, and it's been a minute. But yeah, okay. Mayfair Witches, episode 5. Super Stephen King vibes. Really liked it a lot. And like I said, they're doing a very good job with the house, like, just unsettling. And that acid trip wall, but then it stops, and you're like, was I seeing something? Was I not? I love that. But one thing that I thought was really cool, and this is what I got, because a lot of people are saying the eggs are what tipped them off, because it was like Groundhog Day with Rowan and Cyprian. And he's like, fine, and they're in bed together. But the thing I noticed was the lighting never changed from morning. And I was like, something's up here. The lighting's not changing. And I was like, oh my God, it's like Groundhog Day. She needs to like wake herself up out of it. She needs to realize what's going on. And then I was like, oh my God, what's even creepier? And that's why I'm like, even when we were talking about Rosemary's Baby vibes with Deirdre, I was kind of getting Rosemary's Baby vibes with this. And I was like, oh, they're not actually like sleeping together. They are, because I was like, is that a doppelganger? I swear to God, whoever's messaging me, I'm gonna be pissed. I hate Messenger so much. But yeah, I thought like maybe is that Lasher? Is that something else? What is that? And it's not Cyprian. But I don't think it was so much like that as it was just like her mind. And because at first I was like, oh, that can be really creepy, but they're not actually sleeping together. It's just the happy morning after. You get what I'm saying? And she keeps reliving that part of it. But then I noticed the eggs, and I was like, oh, I see. Okay, that is what's happening. So she's trapped all up in this house, and Cyprian's not okay. And I was loving this. And it's hard to make something entertaining where we stay with one set piece the whole time. So we're just in the house, but I feel like this house has enough character itself that it's easy to carry that. But I really liked that about this. Oh. And like I said, I'm really excited about this background story of these witch hunters. And we go all the way back to Scotland, and we got some guy yelling and screaming about burning ladies at the stake. And like I said, even back then it was like, oh my God, ladies are reading, witch. Oh no, spinsters, witches. But like, no, they really are being witches, and I'm loving it. But we have that happening. So we have both this family and this group that is hunted witches going, I don't know if it's the same exact one, but that theme of hunting them down all the way back, connecting, and I like that. And it's so I'm assuming it's like Rowan. Is her name Suzanne? Whoever the main girl is in the flashbacks, that witch in Scotland. And I appreciate them putting up the subtitles. Like, I can understand it, but I just thought that was cool. I was like, okay, good, because Mom struggles sometimes. But so like whatever she does with this witch hunter or to stop it, is that Rowan's fate too, is to finally put an end to this group? And I really like that. That's what I'm really stoked for. Oh, this was super sad because she takes over being a midwife like her mom was. And I really liked what they were saying when they were before in another episode, when they were like, you got to get used to death too. And I was like, oh, like I get it. Like when you're Rowan's a doctor. This girl's a midwife, but still similar. And they have the herbs, and people are coming to her mom for stuff. So obviously they know more than just the baby stuff. They obviously have remedies and things like that, which I think is really cool to do with her, and Rowan is a surgeon. When Hannibal Lecter has 6 fingers, just so you guys know, that's like a big trait he has in the books. He has 6 fingers. But this baby's born with 6 fingers, and the dad's like, I don't want that demon baby. And that lady's so sad. And I was like, oh my God, you're the worst. You're the absolute worst. And I said this in my House of the Dragon. Like, I don't know. I just don't bother. Like, don't be mean to pregnant ladies. And don't be mean when they just gave birth to your 6-fingered baby, you jackass. That was so sad and so mean. But you can definitely tell this is where the flashback witch is like, nah, yeah, kind of over this shit, and you guys treating us badly. But now when we're back in the Mayfair house, Rowan's finally coming to a bit, and we start to see the stabbing. And, well, like, Cyprian's kind of losing more and more of himself every time we're going through the Groundhog Day thing. And then eventually we realize that. Now, I really liked this a lot. We find out that everybody's going like, oh, Cyprian that he works with, I'm so worried about you, yada, yada, yada. And he's kind of like confused. And that's what I was saying in my last review. I'm like, I think all of these workers, not all of them, but a lot of them know a lot more, and they're kind of sacrificing Cyprian, and they're kind of throwing him into something that he doesn't fully understand the magnitude of with these Mayfairs. So when he sees that flashback of the the guy who worked for the Talamasca back in the day, and he says, "Don't die in this house." I was like, oh, creepy. But I really like this episode because it's all about Rowan pulling herself, accepting who she is and the power she has, and that it's all in her mind. It's almost like a psychedelic trip a little bit. That it's all in her mind, and once she accepts that she can do these things and she's in control, she can do stuff like when the door finally opens. But at first she's panicking and she's freaking out and she's running all around and she's trying to help Cyprian, and then when Lasher showed up, I was really loving that. And he's like, "What do you want?" And that's when she starts kind of believing in herself. And it's about believing in herself and believing that she can do this and what she really, truly wants. And he just shooms Cyprian back home, which I really liked, his sister freaking out. But at first I was like, are they going to off him? Because he knows, like, what's going on here? I was very confused for a minute because Mom watched this episode before me, and then she was like, no, it gets crazy. But I really liked it was almost like John Coffey, to stick with the Stephen King theme, where Odette goes to hide in Cyprian's room, and then she's watching, and later on she's like, I thought you worked for the feds or something. I just wasn't going to ask. I didn't know it was this craziness, dude. And I liked that. That was a total sibling way to go about it, and I love that. Especially when you see adults doing it, because I feel like a few shows right now do that really well, but yeah, like you're still a sibling when you're an adult, you know what I mean? And you talk to them differently than you talk to another adult. And so I like that dynamic, and they do it very well. When they come to help Cyprian, his coworkers, that woman like takes on the pain, and you can tell this is like bad. You can tell it's like, she's like, whoa. And then she's stabbed and hurt. And I really like that because, like I said, it gave me John Coffey vibes, except a little different, like where she had absorbed this attack. But when that sword shoved out, rough. That was rough. But that's what I mean about these practical effects that they're using. Like I discussed in my last review, they're basic, but they work, and they're creepy, and I'm loving it. But I was like, oh. Now, the terminology I'm going to use is a thin place. Like the Mayfair house is a thin place where it's like crossing over with the dead and the living is kind of this. Well, I feel like with Anne Rice, like New Orleans is a thin place, but that's what I mean about when I start using that term. Like the house is a thin place. I made a comment in my other video where I was like, who is this lady to Carlotta? Is she with her or is it a family member? We find out it's the sister, but she's like flickering in and out, and she starts saying some crazy stuff to Rowan, like, oh yeah, no, everything's gonna get real bad. But she's like going in and out, and Rowan's getting real confused. But Rowan I felt like it was really organic the way Rowan. This show has done a very good job of like organically. It doesn't feel forced, none of it. She's finding things out organically. She's changing as a character and as a person organically. It doesn't feel forced and weird. She's very taken back and confused about what is going on here. And this lady's straight shook and flickering in and out. And she's like, what the hell? But Rowan's kind of getting not comfortable, but more comfortable with, okay, I'm figuring this maze out. Does that make sense? Not like total panic still, but I know this is crazy and weird and I'm losing it, but I'm starting to like open my mind up a bit more. Now, I loved this. Okay, when she goes down, I want to learn how to pin my hair, like a flapper style, like the 20s. And I also want to put pins in it so we can just whip them out in case we're in trouble. Look that up. That's a real thing. If anybody's ever listened to, if you need a podcast, check out The Dollop. It's hilarious. But there's one where they talk about, like, people are getting stabbed with hairpins left, right, and center. Like, back in the day, the women started carrying them longer and longer and longer, and they became like a stabbing tool. And and I'm like, that's actually pretty genius. But in all seriousness, I want to learn how to pin my hair like that. I love it. I love that look. I loved everything with Lasher. And when he's like, no mortal man can contend with a Mayfair. Like, come on now. But we also start to get this possessive, unhealthy relationship. I mean, it already was, but it's more blatant now where it's like, no, Cyprian is in the way. And he's the one who's like flicks his wrist and Cyprian disappears. But it's like, obviously Rowan likes Cyprian a lot. And Lasher doesn't like that he's in the way. And that's what that guy in the flashback also says. But we start to get, no, Lasher, you're kind of toxic you're super toxic, like real toxic. Just like with Interview with a Vampire, though, it does a good job of not beating us over the head with that message. It's there, and you can see it if you look into it, but it's not beating us over the head with it. So I really like that we have this toxic relationship forming there of like, no, I'm very possessive with Lasher, but I really love this because it's so spot on, and it could have came off like cheesy and bad, but I thought it was really good and really well done. And that was Rowan eating cake. So you want your cake and you want to have your cake and eat it too, and that's what Rowan's doing. And it's funny because every time I said that about Wanda and WandaVision, and mind you, go watch that first review we did. It's terrible. That was in the very beginning of the channel, but Mom called WandaVision even down to the Dick Van Dyke Show. She called it in the first review we did after the first episode. But I remember I said that to mom. I was like, she wants her cake. She wants to have her cake and eat it too. And my mom was like, well, why can't she? And with Rowan, it's almost like, well, why can't she? But with if Lasher's involved with that, that's not, you can't do that. It's like, okay, well, are you going to be with Cyprian or are you going to run with the Devil Man? But I liked that. Like I said, that could have came off cliche and lame, but I really liked that scene. I thought it was really well done without being cheesy. But I also thought it was perfect because it was almost like she was a little kid, and he was like, no, you want cake. And she's like, I don't want cake. Like, an adult wouldn't say that. And it's like, no, I want cake all the time. I'll eat cakes all day. But like I said, we almost got a glimpse of like Rowan as a kid where she's like, I don't want cake. But it's like, no, you want cake. But then there's a metaphor behind that, and it could have came off whack. What am I on? Chapter 10? But a big, huge theme of that is he works for you. Lasher works for you. So I liked her realizing, like, no, I'm my own. Like I said, they did such a good job with one episode of having this character go from one way to, like, no, I got this. I can do this. And I like that about Rowan. But she's like, she starts to realize something's not right. I gotta save Sip. And Lasher really don't like that. But then she's like, no, I have the power to do all this, yada, yada, yada. And then she realizes she can open the door. And it was so cool. I really like that. And seeing a character, normally we don't get a character arc with that much change in one episode. I mean, we do. You can. But I just thought this did it very well. Carlotta eating it, though, that was great. I loved it. But God, man, what did she say? I should have killed you when you were a baby or something. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Like, no, you shouldn't be able to, I mean, I know I was going back and forth and playing devil's advocate with Carlotta, but obviously she was bad. I seriously doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion, but no, if those words can pass your mouth, you're gross. You're a piece of trash. And I also really like them utilizing this. We continue to go back to this balcony. It's almost, I kind of got the vibe of, a lot of bad things have happened on it, but almost like there was a vision of that balcony, and that's why they did it that way. And I hate YouTube so much. But okay, so that's, a lot of them had jumped off that balcony, right? So did they do that because something was telling that? I know that they were whatever, but did they choose that way because of a dream or a vision or something like that? But really, the vision was eventually the 13th will come and get rid of Carlotta, who's going to go off the balcony. I don't know. I really liked it a lot. I really liked it. I think this was my favorite episode so far. I still haven't watched episode 6. I had a crazy night last night because the last couple nights. My buddy, I love him to death, and I didn't know that he was living not in a house. I didn't know he was homeless and he was living in his car, and I hadn't seen him. And I was like, dude, come over. Get a good night's rest, stay in the loft, I'll wash your clothes, take a shower, all that. And I can sacrifice a night of recording, so my friend can get a good night's rest and be safe until we figure out what he's going to do, you know what I mean? So I don't mind that. I'm not complaining. I just feel bad for you guys because I keep meaning to get things out. And that's why my other video was on, oh, whoa, my hand's all up in the camera. That's why my other video was filmed on the couch, because he was up here sleeping and I didn't want to bother him or make him nervous or something, like I don't know what he's been dealing with and I don't want to come in and scare the shit out of him and have him panic or something. I met up with an old friend. We kind of had a falling out and we both lost so many people, and she loved my uncle. They had the same doctors because she has lupus and really bad arthritis and things like that, and he had a rare form, and they had the same doctors, and he loved her very much, and she sent flowers, and it was just some stupid young 20s falling out. Like, I'd never, you know what I mean? And so yesterday she was like, please come by, and so I went by, and we ended up having a bit of an emergency, a medical emergency happen there that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, it was just a couple of crazy nights. So I'm sorry that I'm so behind and everything, but I'm going to go watch episode 6 right now, and I'm going to get all my reactions up because I didn't get a chance to watch the Super Bowl. So I'm going to be checking out all these trailers for the first time, and tomorrow I'll be on Movie Lovers Unite with John and everybody to talk about them. So I'm really pumped. And another really cool thing that I just want to show you guys, because like I said, me and her both lost people. I used to live with her and her fiance, and he abruptly passed also. And this was it, and it's Kingdom Hearts, and she was just like, he would want you to have it. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. So I'm just like, it was just an emotional couple days, and but it was like but it was nice. I'm seeing people that I haven't seen, but I'm sorry to you guys that I haven't been getting things out, but we're back on track. I got my whole schedule blocked out. I'm excited. Oh, and people are calling Ford out. If you've been around, you know the drama with my job. I tried to tell this woman, though, I was like, get ready for the backlash. I go, because I said one thing on a Free Press article link, and I commented, and it turned my career upside down. And she straight up called them out in the group and was like, I'm so sick of this. They're covering it up. They're not helping me. I reported this harassment that's been going on with all this documentation. And I'm like, hell yeah. And like all of these people from work were screenshotting it and sending it to me. And they were like, oh my God, Abby, look at. And then there was like a ton of comments of people finally saying like, I deal with this too. And that's why I've been so vocal about it. That's why I had those videos up, because I'm just like, you're not the only ones going through this. A lot of us deal, and it's not just women, men and women both. But it's, there, I know that I lost my job, but I still have people I really love and care about there, and it's not right what happens to them, and it's not right what goes on. And I'm not even talking about like I'm not talking about somebody calling me sweetheart. I'm talking about like, you're following me home and threatening my mom and threatening to like assault me sexually and stuff. And they're going, that's not harassment. And I'm like, this man's smashing my neighbor's cameras and slashing my tires, like, what? And then they were like, it's your fault, you deserved it. And I'm like, what? And it was crazy. And then ever since I reported their buddy, they made my life a living hell. And so I was like, I give this woman a lot of credit, but I was like, get ready, you got to get ready. But that was, I mean, either way, I'm glad that more people are coming forward about this, because it sucks and it needs to stop. But yeah, let's cheer up. But honestly, I was just like, good, finally. More people need to be calling these assholes out for not doing their job. You're there to protect us, UAW, and you don't protect us. But yeah, no, let's cheer up. I know I am cheered up. I love this. This was my favorite episode. I love Cyprian. I love Rowan. I love it. I can't wait to watch episode 6. I'm going to go do it right now. If your union's corrupt, remember to vote. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Oh, if you're a Sagittarius, I can't believe how dead on this is. I'm really loving this. I love these little books. You can just like grab them at like CVS and shit, but I can't believe how dead on it is. It's crazy. But thank you all for being here. So I went on a little rant, but I'm like, oh my God, maybe finally something will happen. And I was there 10 years. I just got a quality award like 3 weeks ago. I just got like a special award from a boss like 4 weeks ago. It's so stupid.